Hey, Patriots. This is Coach Micah French with another play breakdown for the U12 Lake Brantley Pop Warner 2022 Patriots. The play we're going to be looking at today is the speed option. This is one of my personal favorite plays. I believe this is going to be one of the most frustrating plays for other teams to defend us on this year. So let's talk about what it is. Here is the basic back. This is the backfield outline for both speed option left and speed option right. What the option part of speed option is that one of two players could end up carrying the ball, either the quarterback or the running back. Who actually carries the ball is dependent, as usual, on an unblocked man along the defensive line. In this case, the play side defensive end. Note that in the inside zone, it's the away side defensive end that is not blocked. In the speed option, it's the play side defensive end that is unblocked. So this play side defensive end, whether we go right or left, has a decision to make. The quarterback will be running essentially straight at his face. That defensive end can either go tackle that quarterback, at which point, before contact, the quarterback will pitch the ball away to the running back in pitch relation on the outside, who will then have a free run upfield, or that defensive end can step out to cover that pitch. In that case, the quarterback would simply run straight through where he vacated. So in both scenarios, our job in the backfield is to make that defensive end wrong. We've got to, and that's a read by the quarterback. We've got to make that defensive end wrong. If we can make that defensive end wrong 75, 80% of the time, this is a viable play. It'll frustrate defenses all year. So let's dive into it a little bit deeper. We're going to start with speed option right, which comes with the red blocking scheme. So note along the line of scrimmage here, we are going along the offensive line here. We are running this to the right. We're going speed option right. So again, the play side defensive end is unblocked. That's the orange person here. So your right tackle, the play side tackle, is moving up and around to linebacker. Now, right tackle, understand this, play side tackle. Right tackle specifically, because the left tackle, you'll see it's a little different on the flip. The movement of the backfield is to the play side in this. There is no fake. There is no misdirection. This linebacker is going to react to first movement, and he's going to sprint to the outside. So tackles, you will need to be athletic here. You will need to sprint to the outside as well and make sure to get to that linebacker's right shoulder to seal him off so that he cannot run the alley, a short alley, and take away that pitch man, take away the running back. So that's an athletic move, right, tackles? We are putting a lot on you in this play. Everything else, well, the next man in is going to have a double. So we're going to double, and the man on the right is going to go scrape to linebacker. And then on the backside, it's just heads up blocking. The play is going to the right. It's a very fast play to the backfield. These backside blocks, as long as they're not crossing your face and attacking inside gaps, they shouldn't be a factor in this play. We should be out of the backfield faster than they can get through you, even in the worst case scenario, run you over. They still shouldn't be able to catch us going away from their side of the ball. So most important blocks here again, right tackle, weaving around the D end and going to linebacker, who will be sprinting outside. You have to catch him going outside. The double team here, if this man breaks this double team, it disrupts this backfield entirely and blows the play up. So double team here, and then scraping to linebacker, which would be the second pursuing linebacker. Right guard here, there'll be a second linebacker coming across, catch him as they come across. Let's look at this in the broader context of the play. It might make a little more sense. So this is the same. This is stack speed option red. This is the red blocking scheme that we just looked at right here in the middle, and the backfield action going to the right. So again, this is, the linebackers, especially because we have so many wide receivers out to the edges. Linebackers will likely be backed up at least slightly. But even if they're not, right tackle, you're going to the second level. Again, this man's probably flowing outside, so you're probably going to catch him somewhere out here. Double team down, scrape off to this backside linebacker coming down. Defensive end is free. So now you've got either a run or a pitch, depending on what the defensive end does. And you should, as with all well-designed running plays, get a one-on-one. That's what we're going for here. The one-on-one in this instance is either the quarterback, if he's taking it, running straight into, through, or hopefully around the safety, or the running back getting the pitch in space and having a one-on-one with that safety. Now, this is kind of the worst case scenario for the formation against this play. Because we have 3 receivers over here, I would expect this safety to actually be shifted closer to the center of the field. But I want to draw it this way because I want to emphasize that this action in the backfield, running backs and quarterbacks, has to happen extremely quickly. We are not jogging into this pitch relation. We are not jogging into the pitch. We are sprinting at full speed because you're racing against the clock of how fast this safety can run the alley and get to your pitch man. The faster you are on the backfield, the more space you have when you catch that ball running back between you and that safety to make a move. And that's where we're going to get the highest percentage chance to beat him. So that's why it's drawn this way. I want to emphasize that this is a very dangerous man. Make it happen fast in the backfield. Wide receivers, what are you guys doing? Well, front side wide receiver, kind of as usual. You have a block, so you're an extension of the offensive line here. That block should look like a route until you're close enough to engage, and then you're going to block. Backside, I want you to look like a threat for these safeties, especially this one. If he's playing in the center field, I want him to see a big body running at him. I want him to have to second guess what direction this play is going. Other plays in our arsenal will be misdirection. So hopefully he will have been confused enough times that he takes an extra second here, slows him down running the alley. That's why the Y, our biggest body out here at the slot, or at, well, what would be a tight end pushed out to the slot, is going to be center field. He's going to be running at where this safety is likely going to have some coverage responsibility. And then everything else is just keeping men on the backside. Work on future routes in these types of routes, backside wide receiver, so that you can kind of train up the cornerback that's covering you to bite on certain things that are in opposition to the routes that you actually want to run later in the game. We'll get to that a lot in practice, how you start to play mind games on the backside of the play. So these are not wasted plays for you. You are doing something on this play, even though it's going away from you. So let me step back. We are leaving the unblocked man on the play side at the end of the line of scrimmage. Quarterback will decide to either pitch or keep, depending on what he does. Right tackle, you've got outside linebacker or inside, wherever he is, whoever this linebacker is sitting at here, you got to get to him. Next man down on the line, on defensive line, it's a double, and then scrape to backside linebacker, heads up blocks on the backside. This is what this looks like in stack speed option red. This is speed option right. Obviously, not a whole lot changes in stack speed option and open speed option red. All we're doing is moving the man that was stacked here over, and you just become another heads up block. Again, make it look like a route until you engage. Everything else remains the same. Where this play changes in the offensive line and its blocking scheme is when we get into ace. That's the formation where we pull the Y in alongside the tackle here, so he becomes an extension, a true extension of the offensive line, right there on the offensive line with the rest of the players. When that happens, we switch to black blocking scheme. So let me show you what the difference is here. So this is red. We're still running the same play at speed option right. This was red where we were an open or stack. Now we've pulled an ace. We've pulled that wire, that tight end, close into the rest of the offensive line. So what happens now is this backside block that was the responsibility of the left tackle now becomes the responsibility of the tight end. You get a double here and a double here. So this becomes a double, this becomes a double, all else the same. Right tackle, you're still going up to linebacker. The doubles, the man on the right scrapes up to linebacker. Why would we maybe go to ace? Let me show it in the broader one here. Why would we maybe go to ace? Let's say we're in open and stack, and these defensive tackles are beasts, and they are just coming through and they're blowing up this play over and over and over. Stack allows us to double team these defensive tackles. So if we're getting crushed by the defensive tackles, if they got some big boys in there, put some studs in there, now you've got doubles here so that these guys aren't coming through faster than we can get the pitch away. Why this isn't the ideal formation to run out of is always because we're pulling more linebackers in here. The more linebackers in the middle, the more creative the defense can get, the more confusing they can get for our offensive line, puts us at more of a disadvantage. We'd prefer to have them split out. But again, if the defensive tackles are coming through too quickly, we might go to ace. If all ace changes really is that this left tackle now has a double with the left guard. And that's really all it changes. And then the Y has the backside defensive end. So that is speed option to the right. Let's talk about speed option left. So speed option left, let me move my little floating head here. Let me show you in relation. Speed option left is not a perfect mirror of speed option right. The reason it's not a perfect mirror of speed option right is, and I'll show you here, hold on, especially in things like stack or really anything, our strong side for the defense is always going to consider the strong side, the running back side, especially because our running back side is also the side where we stack our 3 receivers in this particular playbook. They're likely going to shift their defensive line that direction. So where you would get in red blocking scheme, because everybody is shifted to the left because the running back is on the left and our wide receivers would typically, more of them are on the left, where the D line would typically shift to that stronger side, giving us no player in the B gap on the play side. When you're going into the strong side, you now have a player sitting in the B gap on the play side. So that's why blocking changes. It's not a perfect mirror, because now you've got somebody in the B gap on the play side that has to be taken care of with a double team. We can't afford them to come through B gap. So all that changes here again is now, instead of the play side tackle going up to linebacker immediately at the snap, you first have this double team that you have to secure. It's a very dangerous player if he gets to that double team before you can scrape up to the next level. The next man down has a double. And then this is the backside now, because we're going left. The backside defensive end is just a heads up block again. He shouldn't be able to chase us. He shouldn't be able to run through you and then chase the play on the away side. We are going way too slow in the backfield if that's ever possible. So you might be asking yourself, okay, if we run to the right here in red blocking scheme, this right tackle has the linebacker. Well, now this left tackle doesn't have the linebacker. How do we take care of that? Well, again, the reason why this left tackle doesn't have a linebacker is everybody shifted here because it's our strong side. This is our number side. So what happens is that now becomes the responsibility of the Y in open field, in a crackback block. I've described crackback blocks before. I'll do it again every time because it needs to be done legally for it to not incur a penalty. Crackback block, because this man's going to be coming down hard to this pitch motion. All the motion in the backfield's coming this way. He's looking into the backfield. He does not see you. He's in a very dangerous situation with somebody coming back to block him. Because of that, listen, we want everybody to go home at the end of the day uninjured, and plus we don't want to get penalized. It must be a shot to the chest. It cannot be a shot to the head. You want to get your inside shoulder into the numbers of the man, and into his front numbers. In this case, it would be your left shoulder. We'll get into the numbers of this man as he's coming across, and you'll likely take him off his feet if you hit this block properly. But this is how we take care of the linebacker going left that would have been handled by the tackle. So last really quick recap here. Going right tackle, you're coming up to the second level. Going left tackle, you're not. You're double teaming and then scraping to the second level. Both these plays can be flipped, so you will need to learn the blocking schemes in reverse, but we're not there out of the gate. We're going to learn them in their standard directions first before we move on to that. Speed option, by the way, going to the left is always blue. Never changes its blocking scheme. Wide receivers, if you're play side and you're a wide receiver, you are blocking somebody, right? The X in the stack, you're swinging to the outside. If this cornerback leaves with Y, if he thinks Y is running a route and he's in coverage, that's great. Move up to safety. Don't chase this corner if he goes with Y. Move up to safety. That's beautiful. That is a running back on nobody or quarterback on nobody if we get that particular action happen. But if you're play side, you are blocking it as wide receiver. Backside, you're running that. You're playing that mind game with your backside cornerback. So we can run this in any direction. We will especially run this if they are blitzing up the middle. If they put 5 down linemen. Again, I will note all these plays are drawn with what I believe are the most likely formations for the defense to be in. That doesn't mean they have to be in these defenses. There's no rule for that. So you will learn from your offensive line coaches how to make adjustments if they pull a man down, who picks them up, if they blitz, who picks them up, all those types of things. But we will most likely run this if they are coming really hard at the center of our offense, blitzing or pulling a 5th man down here on the defensive line. We want to get outside of them as quickly as possible, and this does it for us. So that was the speed option, both left and right. We will drill this a million times in practice, especially this pitch relation which is the responsibility of the running back to be in perfect pitch relation to the quarterback at all times. We'll cover that extensively in practice. And I'm really excited to get to run this play this year. This will be the first year we run the speed option. I'm really excited. I think this is going to be a fantastic play for us. So can't wait to see you guys at practice.